Thank you for joining the webinar. This is Nick Penef. I'm the partnership manager of hellotax, and we're doing these webinars every 2 weeks or once a month, but I guarantee you guys this is the best one that we've done so far. We did the rehearsal last week and we couldn't stop talking even though we're organizing that for you. So just some introduction about hellotax. We're a fully remote company which does VAT compliance for online sellers. So that's on the surface, but on the inside, actually, our goal is to organize our partners in our partnership ecosystem to actually share, challenges and solutions that they provide to actually help e-commerce sellers. And obviously, Brexit has been the hot topic since the beginning of the year. So this time, the Brexit, it's what actually we're about to do post-Brexit. Why Costa said it's like a hangover. So you guys need like a strategist for how we can actually deal with the new reality. So since actually we had a call with our partners last week, I have a real funny story which actually from hellotax. Actually, I mentioned the company is fully remote. Our customer support director is from the UK, but she lives in Bulgaria. And she shared a very funny story last week. She was telling me that because of Brexit, right now, they stopped importing the traditional British sausage, cheddar, and other stuff in Bulgaria. So now she cannot actually enjoy the traditional English breakfast here. So actually, that's a real story. And so actually, Brexit is actually having a negative effect not only for businesses but only for the individuals. So right now, actually, we share what we know from our clients because a lot of clients actually stopped selling in the UK, which were based in Europe, and vice versa. So now we're actually share some tools, companies, and solutions that actually can help you out so you don't stop selling, so you can actually continue doing what you used to do before. So thank you everybody for joining, Andreas, Scott, Connie, Costas. And first we'll have Scott because Scott is our partner from the States. He wake up very early for us, so we'll let him talk first. And he has a very, very nice tool. So thanks for joining, Scott, and I'm heading it over to you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I am in the United States, based out of Salt Lake City. These are some mountains in my backyard. I first am an Amazon seller, been selling for about 8 years. Started a company with some brothers, and I've always been the software guy behind the scenes. And we launched a tool the end of last year. Really excited to show it to you. But we are also, the reason I got invited to this panel is we are starting to sell in the UK. And so that's approached us with a lot of the problems and the changes that that Brexit has given us. There's a lot of uncertainty. Some sellers were definitely very disrupted. And so I know the tools, solutions that I have can help you understand what's happening on Amazon. And actually this week, I'm happy to announce that we are launching in the UK. The tool is available. Luckily, it coincided with this webinar. So if you give me a chance, I'll share my screen and we'll jump into the tool and hopefully show you something that you haven't seen before. Because some of these things, at least the UK part, no one's seen before. So right here, I'm sharing the right screen, right? So right here, we should see a map of the United States. And this is a physical map of the Amazon sellers. And you can hover over someone, the bigger the circle. I just selected 1,000, but the bigger the circle, the bigger the seller. So you see this is in the US marketplace, but since we're not talking about US, let's hop on over to the UK marketplace. So you select that and here we go. We're looking at the top 1,000 sellers in the UK. Let's make this a little bit more interesting and let's go up to 25,000 sellers. And we'll really see some of the power and perhaps maybe you'll find a few sellers in your neighborhood. Let's just jump into London because we know that's an economic hub and there's going to be a lot of sellers. As you can see, there are a lot. It helps you appreciate how big Amazon is. And when you zoom in, then you could really start to learn more about these sellers, where they're at. So we could jump in, and if I click on a seller, it'll pull up a little bit more about them. So here we have Mountain Warehouse. It shows their offers. Looks like this is apparel, and looks like they're kind of a private label. They are only selling their own brand. Their seller name is matching their brand. So that's one thing that I like, that I think that SmartScout helps people with, is understanding. Say you want to. Every seller is different. Everyone's got a different angle, whether they're a reseller or private label or a traditional brand. And so we try and put in some things in here to help you identify those. And you could see very quickly, this is like something just fun to explore. I mean, yes, you'll learn something. This is definitely a reseller. They're very big into electronics. So this richer sounds, you can see all these like traditional electronics brands, but they happen to be doing fairly well in revenue. So you can, you can throw a lot of filters in. Let's look at, let's try beauty. And let's see that. Okay. I think that, yeah, that did remove some of the sellers here. So these are now all, pharmacy. We're seeing some beauty sellers, Beauty Republic, UK. So, if you want to, say if you want to work or source from a certain brand or a certain category, that is what we have. So it's a fun tool to jump in and out of. Looks like it's really noisy right here. Most of the time when we search, it kind of groups it. If you explore South China, that's where things get. Let's go to all categories, and I'll show you something. If you want to see how one way to think about SmartScout is like analysis. This is kind of a catchy, interesting way, but I actually built it with just brands in mind, where we were really wanting to figure out which are the best brands for us to work with. We started on a retailer or a reseller. And so that's where this map became useful. So let's jump into beauty again. So here I am in the categories feature, and there's a few pieces of data that really help us know how the brand is and how likely we are to be successful working. All this data right here, we are all looking at the UK, and I'm actually less familiar with it, but I've sorted it by the monthly revenue estimate. That is an estimate that we make by looking at all of their offers, looking at all their sales ranks, and the price points, and kind of collecting that all together, and then organizing this around a brand. So let's just click in one real quick. I mean, we know L'Oreal, these are all top beauty brands. And you could see their product offerings, and you can see the sellers. Looks like it's still loading. This is one of the bigger ones. Yep, here we go. And we can see that these offered sellers. And what I really like here is some of these filters. We can filter out brands that have a high in stock rate with Amazon. So we don't like to sell against Amazon retail. It's kind of a lose-lose scenario. And so we will filter out those brands that have a higher percentage with them. And say we want to work with brands that don't have a lot of sellers. So, we'll filter out, brands that have more than, let's say, 2 sellers on average, FBA. And this gives us some good ideas of some brands that we can work with and contact and see if there's an Amazon connection that we can make. So we got the sellers, we got the brand view, and then finally I'll jump into this traffic graph, which is more for let's try protein bar. So I've read that up to 30% of sales on Amazon happen through the recommendations engine. So where they feature another product on a page. So what we've done is we've collected this information and then kind of create like a reverse recommendations sourcing. So I just typed in protein bar, and the little dots here with the gold circle, these are the ones that are on the front page. And then we're seeing here products that are featuring this. So the direction of this arrow shows you where, which ones are being featured. So, and then you have that list right here. And so what we find this is very useful is if you're trying to analyze your competitors to find out where they're being featured, and if you want to advertise on them, you could go in here and download this, and you can kind of get an idea of a subcategory. I mean, here's protein bars, and you can kind of get an idea on different competitors and brands or complementary products. So here we, I guess Nature Valley, it's, related to this Belvita. I don't know protein bars super well, but it's kind of a fresh take on how to understand what's going on in the marketplace, figure out some advertising strategies, or even keywording strategies to figure out what complementary products are. So these are the main features I'm showing off today in SmartScout, and it's really only been alive since October, and really happy to launch in the UK, and hopefully we're going to go to other marketplaces. But the UK was by far the most requested. And I mean, like we were saying earlier, with Brexit, created a lot of uncertainty around what's going on, and a lot of sellers were disrupted. It is a little bit more of a challenge for us to sell in the UK, and so having the right data is an advantage. So that's what I've got, and I guess we'll have a Q&A at the very end. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah. We'll answer all the questions today.
Yeah, stick around, and if you have any questions, I'll be here.
Okay, thanks, Scott. So obviously, I mean, even though some of the actual attendees are saying that it's for Brexit, but actually Brexit, the importance about Brexit, how to actually solve the issues which are associated with Brexit, not just the issues, because we did a lot of events last year, and we actually told a lot of partners and clients what they need to do, but many of them did not listen. So our idea here is to let you know what tools our partners are using, so we can actually have an edge over the competition. Because if you guys don't change, obviously a competitor is gonna take your place. So that's the idea. At the end, hellotax will tell you more about the VAT part, the Brexit part. But of course, if you don't have a product, if you don't find a good product, a good a competitive product or keywords, you're not gonna have any product to sell. So at the end, you need tools like SmartScout, because once you do that, then you have like a logistic partner, like or like an FBA. So then you need some like an agency, and then you need funding, and at the end, hellotax take care of the unpleasant part, which is taxes. But anyways, there is a long way to go from the start to the end. So thanks again, Scott. So I'll have now Andreas from Alaiko to actually give us some insights about Brexit in more detail, because he's a e-commerce fulfillment company, so he'll share more. Thanks, Andreas, and thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Hey,
So
Andreas.
yeah, thanks, Nick, for the introduction. I hope I can bring also some very valuable information for all the participants. Even I don't have such a nice and handy tool as Scott demonstrated today. But let's start with the presentation. Anyhow, so now you should see my screen. So first, to give you a small understanding about Alaiko, I'm going to continue on that later. But we are a fulfillment company, or we are a software company that also offers fulfillment. And what we like to discuss today with you guys is how to use local fulfillment as a competitive advantage to overcome the Brexit hangover and all the pains which comes with the Brexit. That means, so how do we help UK sellers or merchants, or not just UK merchants, but also EU merchants in general, to overcome that? First is the problem here, as Nick already mentioned with the example of his colleague, that some products are not offered anymore in some countries because of the problem, or someone has issues to order them from the UK, or vice versa in UK from the EU. So I can tell you, to me happened something very similar, or happened not just once, actually a couple of times, and I hear it all around. But one very crucial topic I had here was I ordered a gift for my wife, a Valentine's gift, a very nice one from the UK, and how it happens often when it is very important, and it didn't arrive in time. So that's very painful, because you don't think about it. In the best cases, it's written on the shop where you place the order that it's going to take a little bit more than usual. Something like a little bit more than usual. Let's say right now it's more than taking 1 month, the delivery from the UK to Germany, where I'm placed. So in the end, the present for my wife arrived, but with a huge delay. You don't have to be hurried, guys. I'm still married. That's not the problem. But of course, it's very unpleasant for everybody. And to continue this story, because just now, this week, I got the information from the German customs agency that I even have to pay afterwards a custom fee for that, which was also not written on the shop. So now I have a more expensive product, which came not in time. It was a very unpleasant situation, because of course I was very happy about to give the gift to my wife, and she didn't receive it. So a lot of problems here. So that's just one, let's say, real life example to what situation the whole Brexit situation brings us. And I guess a lot of customers like myself, they are more frightened to order products from the UK. Or also I heard already from a lot of our merchants that the orders from their UK customers dropped extremely since the Brexit. So it goes in both directions. So, and how Alaiko can help you with that? Of course, as I said, we as a fulfillment partner, we can help EU shops which like to continue to sell in the UK or start selling in the UK, we can in the other way around also support UK shops to gain a competitive advantage by having a local fulfillment in the EU. And of course, we can help out with customs declaration, all the processes around that. And of course, to enter new markets with fulfillment locations is also an extra plus, which comes with such a local fulfillment. And why is that like that? So I know that a lot of UK merchants and shops, so if you're selling on Amazon, or if Amazon is one of your sales channels, but also if you have your own web shop or use other shop channels, you can use, of course, FBA, but also you can use like a private fulfillment center solution for that. A lot of merchants started to place the products in the Netherlands, which comes probably by the most recent, as the Netherlands are the closest country to the UK, and also very handy when it comes to solve problems in the digital way. But so if you, for example, take Germany here, Germany is the second biggest e-commerce market in the EU. So broadens the way for you to directly sell to your customers. And with the competitive advantage through a local fulfillment, yeah, Germany is in the more or less in the center of the EU, which gives you access to all the countries in the north and the west and the east and the south. So it doesn't matter really if the order comes from Italy or Spain or France. It has all the time more or less the same distance to cover. So I would say Germany here is a very, very good strategic place to start with a local fulfillment. And of course, another point how we support our merchants is we have a very strong partner network, as for example, hellotax, which is covering, Nick says always, it's not a very so nice part, paid taxes. I think it's not a problem, because if you have to pay taxes, that means that you also earn something. And honestly, if you earn enough to pay taxes, then that's a good thing. But yeah, with strong partners like hellotax, we solve such problems which are not our own service, but we can support with this network also our merchants. Then there are one other word to Alaiko to give the listeners and the viewers who are not familiar with Alaiko so far a little bit understanding what we're doing. So as I said at the beginning, we are a software company with a fulfillment center solution. That means we created a logistics operating system to handle all your orders coming in. That means on the one side, we have connections to shop systems, ERP systems, marketplaces like Amazon, eBay, or whatever, a lot of them. Bringing in all your orders. On the other hand, we are connected to a wide network of fulfillment partners, deeply integrated into the warehouse management systems of them. And what we do, we give you back the control if you have an outsourced fulfillment. That means you can really control what is happening with your order in the fulfillment center. And in the other way around, we help you to offer your customers the best service degree to fulfill the orders. And yeah, as I said, here it's in the end it's all about the customer experience. And one very important point when it comes to delivery is a smooth and fast delivery. And yeah, in average, you can see the times that we have here. We have almost 100% next day delivery. And yeah, that's very comfortable for the customers and for the merchants themselves. Of course, the accuracy is very important as it comes to less problems and less customer service tickets. and by automatization and standardization of the solution we offer, in average, we save 34 hours a week for our merchants. To compare Alaiko to usual fulfillment centers, if you're familiar with fulfillment center work or with logistics in general, it's a little bit complex and time intensive, as it's a lot of using the telephone, sending emails from one end to the other. It goes forwards and backwards. A lot of communication involved, which is not very comfortable for nobody here. And we solved the problem with this with our solution. So that means we take care of the whole pick, pack, and ship of your stock management, of the return management. We run data analysis and on. Everything that's related really to the order, we take care of. As I said, we have the integration to numerous shop and ERP systems and marketplaces. So it's a very good integration network, which usually doesn't take more than 2 minutes for the technical onboarding. Of course, the physical onboarding always takes a little bit longer, as we're talking about store your goods in an outsourced fulfillment center. But here we also have a very experienced team, which is helping you with the technical onboarding. And in the end, it's the shipping we are connected to the main carriers which are used in Europe. So to also guarantee a very fast shipping in the end. And finally, also a little bit comparison about what is the usual logistics and how the merchants are used to that if they're not using FBA. And if you use Alaiko's fulfillment solution, of course, you can also call our solution FBA, as it's fulfillment by Alaiko, but don't really want to compete here with Amazon. But what we try to offer the merchant is that they can take advantage of our solution to offer also the merchants a service level degree they might know or used to from FBA, but not using FBA directly, using an outsourced fulfillment solution here. Yes, that's so far how we support merchants in the UK and also in whole Europe. So far, made Foxley in Germany to overcome this hangover and to keep offering the best fulfillment and logistics solutions to the end consumer. Nick, back to you. Nick, you're still muted.
Okay, guys, okay. Sorry about that.
No,
I did it on purpose, so it could be a little more funny. So anyways, thanks, Scott. Thanks, Andreas. So right now we'll have Connie. She'll tell us more about Magnet AMS. They're like an Amazon agency. So obviously, once you have a product that you can find using Scott's tool, then you obviously need the fulfillment part. And after that, obviously you need to advertise and grow the brand, because if nobody knows about you, I mean, you're not going to sell anything. So thanks, Connie, and tell us what you guys do and actually what happened after Brexit and how actually you're dealing with your clients and how you're helping them. So thanks again.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Perfect. So I'm Connie Ahmed. I work for Magnet AMS. We're an Amazon marketing agency, and we focus on helping small and established sellers grow their Amazon presence. So that's through sales, visitors, traffic, searchability, keyword marketing, etc. So I think today I'm going to share some insights on what we're calling our Brexit perspective for Amazon sellers. Hold on. Right, so I guess the first question is what is actually changing? I'm sure you guys know better than anyone what is changing. So Alaiko has mentioned fulfillment. We'll talk a bit more later on the webinar around customs from the specialists. And of course, there's VAT changes that hellotax will cover. But I think when you're thinking about big changes in the marketplace, it's also really important to consider what is staying the same. So convenience-driven online shopping is here to stay. The pandemic has exacerbated this, but it's growing and it's going to continue to grow. And I think many consumers will stick with buying things online. Amazon as a retailer and as a platform is here to stay. Today, an estimated 40% of online transactions are done via their website. So if you're an e-commerce seller selling on your own website or not selling on Amazon or selling on eBay, it's important to consider Amazon as a route to market, as a way to launch new products, and as a way to kind of expand your reach. What is also staying the same is customers searching for the best product, the most relevant benefits. So this is really interesting in tandem with Amazon, because today people are starting their search on Amazon for products before they go to Google. So it's really important for you to understand how Amazon can be used to drive brand discovery and product discovery. So a lot of buyers will start off buying from Amazon and learn about your brand or your product from Amazon, and then you can direct them to your website over time as they become more loyal customers. So what does this mean for you, and why should you embrace Brexit? So less product competition. So of course, many of the barriers to entry now to selling in Europe and for European sellers to sell in the UK around customs, VAT, and fulfillment means that a lot of small private label sellers are probably going to decide to stop selling in Europe and vice versa. So if you're a big brand and you have infrastructures around customs and VAT and you have the kind of cash flow, this might be a good opportunity for you to dominate categories that you might have been otherwise have been aggressively competing for with other people. So estimated 150,000 small private sellers are going to be significantly affected by these changes. So if you're not a small seller and you have some cash flow and have a brand, then it could be an opportunity for you to seize. Of course, less sellers in certain categories would mean less advertising competition. So depending on how you bid, you can actually get more bang for your buck, because you can have lower bidding and still have as many search impressions and have as many placements on Amazon. So lower competition in certain categories could mean cheaper advertising for you. Another thing is that, of course, cheaper ads and cheaper bids means cheaper clicks, cheaper impressions, and ultimately a lower advertising cost of sale. Another thing that a lot of people don't know is that it's easier to get orders and to run campaigns in other parts of the world. UK and the US actually has really high advertising costs in comparison to other parts of Europe. So if you're thinking about going to sell in these places or thinking about stopping from selling in these places, these are some of the things that you might want to consider in terms of your next steps. So talking about next steps, what are your next steps and how you can embrace Brexit? So one thing that we like to talk about is seller authority. So if you were selling on Amazon in Europe before and you pulled out completely, your seller authority is going to be affected. Amazon heavily weights its algorithm to seller authority. They want to promote sellers and products that they have confidence in, that have strong credibility. So if you pulled away from selling in a marketplace, your seller authority has probably been affected. So it's important that when you go back into these marketplaces, you focus on feedback and building your seller authority. And feedback is a really good way to do that. And leveraging different types of advertising placements can be a really, really good way to do that as well. And as I said, if you're a big brand, you have your own organization that has traffic on your own website and you have a global customer base, you can encourage them to leave reviews on Amazon if they've purchased your products on Amazon before, or you could even run some types of discounted promotions just to get people to go on Amazon and leave reviews and start to really boost your rankings. So that's a really nice hack that you can use. As well, offsite, organic and internal sales is becoming increasingly important. So many people, when they're listing in other marketplaces other than the native marketplace, whether it's France or Europe or other parts of Europe or Italy, for example, they tend to kind of do a bit of a lazy job of kind of just Google Translate. It's important that your listings are localized. You understand the audience, you understand how they're searching, what keywords are relevant to them, and you do a bit of an audit of who's already selling there. So if they're based locally, they have a bit of an advantage in terms of costs in comparison to you. So what other things can you differentiate yourself for on those listings in comparison to other category sellers? And of course, I'm sure many of you now know that Amazon is increasingly weighting towards offsite sales. They want you to bring consumers from other platforms and other traffic forms to their site. So if you can do that, and again, leverage the other advertising platforms and other channels to really try and get people to buy on Amazon, it's a really nice way to boost your listings in new marketplaces. And then this is just a little thing to talk about leveraging Amazon's new features. Their live has come out. They've kind of relaunched their live. It's just a push from Amazon to kind of encourage a visual shopping experience. Anytime Amazon launches a new feature, or like most platforms, when they launch a new feature, it's usually quite cheap. They give you free traffic. It's a nice, easy way to differentiate yourself from other people. And they're usually on hand to really help and support with that. So this can be a really nice way for you to stand out from the crowd and just kind of start using new traffic sources. And that could become the next big thing. Visual shopping experiences are very big in Asia at the moment. And of course, test and track what you're doing in comparison to local sellers, and also test and track your creatives as well. Creatives are a big decision-making factor for people buying on Amazon. So quick touch on who we are and how we can help you. So we can help you grow your sales, launch new products in new marketplaces, increase your profit margins and reduce your advertising cost of sale, and leverage intelligence and data to spot opportunities for you to sell more than your competition. A bit more about who we are here. We're a boutique firm, so we focus on Amazon. We like to call ourselves a sales machine. We work with a wide range of Amazon sellers, established, new, budding, and we focus on helping you get visibility, searchability, and improve your sales conversions of your listing. So kind of our key main areas: analytics, searchability, and campaigns. And that's all. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at the end of the session, and this is my information for the future.
Thanks, Corinne. So we'll have the questions and then, and after the actual event, we'll send an email to everybody, for those who came into the event and for those who didn't. So you have all the information for all the companies, so you can contact them if you need assistance. So right now, let's say you have grown your brand, now you're advertising on several markets, and at a certain level, you grow, you have a huge revenue, but you need to expand further, which is the hardest part. And many of these companies don't know that, but eventually they would need funding, and you would need funding to actually expand what you guys are doing. So this is why we have StorFund. They're a partner of us, and Kostas, he has a lot of experience with such companies, so he'll share more in regards to what they're helping on. So thanks, Kostas. Thanks for bearing with us with our stories about gifts, sausages, English breakfast, and whatsoever. So thanks again.
And Valentine's gifts.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all. I will try to be brief because I think we're running out of time. So StorFund provides daily liquidity to e-commerce sellers. So we're not experts on Brexit, if such a thing exists. So what we have done is we send a questionnaire to our sellers, to our clients. So multiple scores did reply, and that's why we have named our presentation, what are the facts on the ground. So you're going to see actual quotes from sellers and how they have managed to deal with the Brexit predicament or opportunity. So to start with 1970, we're going to have, and in the middle, we're not going to go back to 1970. I think things there will not be disequilibrium. Now, what we see though is that Northern Ireland, so companies that are set up in Northern Ireland, they are in a magical position, and actually this is quite fitting since today is St. Patrick's Day, where they can sell. They are still part of the common market, and of course they're part of the UK. So we have instances, we have one instance of a seller where they're totally not affected by Brexit as things stand right now. So for them, it's as Brexit never really happened. So as I mentioned, I think we're overshooting. I think things will get better. But of course, I will not go back to the single market situation. Now, three main takeaways that we have seen, and actually right here I'm building on Connie's point where there is actually less competition. What does less competition mean? Is actually less trade. Why do we have less trade? Because there is friction, there is cost. So we have instances where sellers literally stopped for the moment selling in the UK. They took a very conservative approach in the UK or in the EU. We have sellers that are facing higher costs when it comes to customs, and they have decreased the volume that they're sending either to the UK or to the common market, to the European Union. Another obvious takeaway is that sellers now carry more inventory. So they try to hold inventory in two jurisdictions. Most probably you will not want to fulfill your orders in the UK from Germany, right? So it might be more optimal or better with less cost to hold your inventory in the UK. Also, the same holds if we go further up the supply chain. So let's say you're a drop shipper of product, right? And you are selling in the EU and in the UK. The fact that your supplier also has a warehouse in the Netherlands makes your life easier. It's as if you're not really that much affected by Brexit, since you can continue operating as before. So more inventory, the takeaway of that slide. And I guess the mother of all solution is creating two legal entities. So we have large American sellers that, they were already selling in Europe. They had an entity in the Netherlands or in Germany, and then now they also decide to open an entity in the UK. Small, medium sellers, of course, we have an instance of a UK seller where the majority of the volume comes from the German marketplace, and they decided to open a GmbH. And of course, another fashionable trend is this e-resident setting up a company in Estonia. That's what some UK sellers are currently doing, which, as things stand, is easier to set up a company in Estonia than in France or Spain, right? So, two legal entities. Now, in terms of cash flow, most probably you will carry more inventory and you will face more red tape. And for some sellers, this will add some pressure on their cash flow. So what do we mean by that? I mean that there will be more cash. Your cash cycle will become more cash hungry, in other words, since you will probably order more and you will divide your inventory in 2 or 3 warehouses. You're not going to be able to optimize as before. And a solution like StorFunds can help you alleviate that cash flow strain if it happens for a couple of months or periodically, since we are providing next day payments for your balances. Balance or the next day. Now, the benefits for legal entities for sellers that are facing the Brexit predicament are obvious. It's a temporarily cash relief, so they can adjust or they can migrate to that new situation, right? But the core value proposition of the product, of course, it's all about growth. It's all about unlocking your own funds, your own equity, shortening your cash cycle, and accelerating your growth on Amazon and in other e-commerce marketplaces. And of course, this is totally different than carrying debt. I see that it's very fashionable now for private label sellers to try to exit and sell their businesses to the various Amazon aggregators that they have sprung in the US and in Europe. Obviously, carrying debt will impact the valuation of your business. Daily payments can help you grow without adding debt on your balance sheet, right? And of course, with daily payments, you're not using other people's money. So if things do not turn out as planned, if your forecast, is not, if reality actually there's quite a deviation of reality from your forecast, again, there are no loan installments since you're not getting a loan. You're using your own funds. Last but not least, we apply a fee. We apply our fee on the net balance, right? Unlike some of our competitors who apply their fee on gross sales, and the fee depends on volume. The bigger your business, the less you will pay. And all right, as I say, we're present in 17 Amazon marketplaces, and we're the only global solution currently on Amazon. So thank you very much. I did it in 7 minutes, so that's not bad.
Thank you, Costa. You're like Costas Kenteris, but in the webinars. I'm not sure if most of you know who is Costas Kenteris. Okay. So thanks again. So now, obviously, so once you're done all the steps that we just discussed, and then you need to do the actual tax type, VAT taxation. So we have our one of our senior, advisors to SAFE to actually share, what is VAT, the basics, and why you guys need that, and what would happen, I guess, if you don't comply, you're not compliant. So thanks to SAFE, you can unmute yourself and you're ready to go.
Okay, thank you, Nick. Thank you everyone for joining. I wouldn't go into the details because the panelists described many steps from finding a product to launching and into moving from EU to UK and UK to EU. I wouldn't go into that detail, so I would rather stick to VAT. As Nick already explained, we are the one handling the technical or rather boring part of taxes. So I will talk about the VAT. Okay, first of all, why a business should or must register for VAT. So I would say the first rule is a rule of thumb. That is, if you are storing in any country in the EU or UK for that matter, you must register for VAT. So that's a rule of thumb. Another rule which is still applicable in the EU, but not for the UK anymore, that is the distance sales threshold. So a lot of you, I'm sure, would be familiar with the distance sales threshold since you guys are dealing and selling in the EU marketplaces. For those who are not, I will explain it a little bit. Distance sales threshold is actually when a business is selling from one EU country into another, and those sales are business to consumers. So those kind of sales are counted towards the are called the distance sales and counted towards the distance sales threshold. Now, for example, let's take the example of Germany. In Germany, the distance sales threshold is 100,000 euro in a calendar year. So if you are selling from, say, 3-4 EU countries into Germany directly to the consumers, the threshold would still remain 100,000 euro. So if you have sold 20,000 from one country, 30 from another, and so on and so on. So as soon as you cross the distance sales threshold, then you must register for VAT in Germany. The distance sales threshold varies from country to country. It could be anywhere between 35,000 euro to 100,000 euro. Okay, so let's come to the Brexit changes. What happens in terms of VAT, how you could best operate still after Brexit. As our panelist explained very well, that Brexit has happened and now is the time to be sober and accept the reality. So how to continue selling on the European marketplaces for the UK-based businesses. Although you still have the option of selling from your UK fulfillment center, option for a seller in this competitive age, especially. So what the sellers would need to do is they would need to store in a rule of thumb, as I mentioned earlier, is if you are storing in any EU country or UK, you must be VAT registered in that country. So you would need to register for VAT. When UK was part of the EU, just a single EORI number was enough for all 28 countries. But now you would need a separate EORI number for the EU if you already have a UK EORI number. Okay, or the other way around, if you are an EU seller and wants to sell in the UK, so it is the mirror image. What you would need to do is you would need to store your products in a UK fulfillment center. Of course, here you also have the option of directly importing into the UK from EU country, but that would be an import and that would require a lot of customs paperwork, delay for your customer. So the best option is if you store in a UK fulfillment center, you would again be needed to register for UK VAT, and you would also need a customs agent. So you would need a customs agent for EU if you are a non-EU based seller based in the UK, or the other way around, if you are an EU based seller and you want to import into the UK, you would still need a customs agent. There are two types of representation, that is direct or indirect representation. So since you are for EU businesses or EU companies, a direct representation is enough in EU, but for a non-EU business, for example, the UK, you would need an indirect representation, which I wouldn't go into detail, which you could best discuss with a customs agent. An indirect representation is usually more expensive and risky for the customs agent themselves. Another thing that with Brexit also came into the UK, and that is that have stirred a lot of questions in sellers. That is the new UK E-Commerce V80 Regime 2021, which has been in place since 1st of January 2021. A lot of the sellers might know this already. Such a similar regime is coming into the EU as well from 1st of July. But as of date, it has not been implemented. It will be implemented from 1st of July 2021 in the EU. However, the UK regime have changed the rules a lot. Number one, we had a consignment relief of £15 or less per import, which has been now lifted off, which was called low value consignment relief previously. Another important thing that changes a lot of things for the sellers and making it easier for sellers actually is now the tax authorities have started to make the marketplace liable for the collection and remittance of VAT rather than the seller. But the rules are still there. It does not mean that anyone who is selling packages or sending goods worth lower than £135 would have no liability towards the VAT. That is incorrect. A lot of sellers have that in mind. There are certain rules. Those rules are if you are, for example, a non-UK based seller based outside of the UK, and you are selling on a marketplace like Amazon, eBay, Shopify, etc., and your goods are worth less than the package, the consignment which you are sending per consignment, that is less than £135, and you are not storing in the UK. So if the goods are coming from outside of the UK into UK directly, in that case, the marketplace is responsible completely. But if you are storing your goods in the UK, the marketplace is still responsible. You would also be responsible to to account for its transaction VAT. So the rules have become a little bit more complicated than okay. Well, I hope that was clear enough for everyone. This is a complicated topic, and I can see that this one session will not be enough to cover all of your questions. So if you have any more further questions, you could just contact our consultation experts at hellotax website, and they're there to guide you. Thank you. Over to you, Nick.
Thank you, Dusef. So you guys with Costas were very briefing on the topic. So now we have several questions from clients. So obviously, I mean, the first thing is for Scott, you know, and the first question is, how would SmartScout compare with similar products or service tools like Jungle Scout and Helium? Hello, Scott. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got it. So everyone knows Jungle Scout and Helium 10. Those ones are excellent tools. They do a great job of like product research. I think most of their tool sets are organized around like product analysis. SmartScout is more of like a brand and seller analysis. You may not find as much data about products as you would in compared to those tools, but where SmartScout really shines is if you want to analyze brands and sellers.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Another question. This one is for Alaiko, from Sean. If a UK company wants to use Alaiko as a fulfillment center, will my UK company need to be VAT registered in Germany? Obviously, I mean, we answered that yes, if you're storing goods in any market, you will need to be VAT registered. And also, does Alaiko have fulfillment center in France? This is something that they don't know. So, Andreas, do you guys offer fulfillment in France?
So far, not now.
No, not,
but
okay.
Probably
okay,
going to come, but at the moment, not. But I can tell you, we have very competitive rates sending from Germany to France. So that shouldn't be a problem if you have a lot of France customers.
Okay, so what is the delivery time, let's say from Germany to France on average? That's another question.
That's an average 2 to 3 days.
Okay, so it's actually not that long. Another question, this one is for Connie. No. What is the market in the EU that you recommend for UK sellers to expand and run campaigns and advertise? Obviously after Brexit, no, obviously they need to choose one in Europe.
I mean, Sweden is new. So
I know, but I mean, okay, so what about Germany? Is there like companies who go to Germany first? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you were saying Sweden is the hot market right now?
Marketplace, and it's not as competitive as the UK. So yes, Germany would be a good place as well.
I see. And what obstacles do this actually companies have? Is it the translation of the actual campaigns? What is the biggest issue when they expand to these markets?
So yeah, localization is one of the things. I wouldn't use the word translation because people just think immediately convert English to French or convert English to Germany. To German rather. Search is different, so you wouldn't want to just directly translate what you search for in English to what they search for in Germany. So that's a big thing as well. And of course, as well, like a lot of the local sellers, they may have a stronger brand presence than you do. So getting reviews and building that social proof is a little bit tough in the initial stages as well. So that's something that focus on getting reviews. And if I said, if you have a website and you have people who buy from you from other countries, you can run promotions to encourage them to go and buy from you on Amazon to just boost your Amazon ranking and reviews for a period of time.
Okay, so actually another question for you. So obviously you're providing services for Amazon markets like in Germany, France as well, right?
Yes, we do all the European marketplaces.
Okay, thanks, Connie. Here is one question to Seth. Which is the easiest market to register for the VAT for UK companies in the EU right now, and which is the hardest?
Yeah, well, the hardest is the easiest to answer. I would to Spain. That takes a lot of time and effort. Getting the VAT registration and going around the regulation, going for the German VAT registration. That takes a little bit of time. Before Corona and COVID hurdles, it used to take 4 to 6 weeks, which is not that long. So I would say if you have to go get that, Germany could be a better option.
Okay, and in this case, I mean, what is specific from Spain, or why is that long? I mean, that's another question. Why Spain is that hard to register?
Spain is really hard to register because of their own bureaucracies. To the tax authorities office to have an appointment with them, and it is not unusual for Spanish VAT registration to take from 3 to 6 months.
I see. So actually the actual documentation takes a lot of time, right?
The bureaucracy, I would say, very slow, very bad.
Okay, another question for you from Ihor. If a company wants to ship to the UK from the EU, do they need the UK VAT even though they don't have a warehouse in the UK?
Okay, so if they are shipping from EU into the UK, now that depends in the new regulations how or if they are doing it through their own website or physical trading. If they are doing it through their own website or physical trading, in that have a choice. Either they, the seller, could get registered for VAT, pay the import VAT, and deliver the product over to the customer, or they could just deliver up to the customs warehouse, and from where the customer himself would pick up and pay import VAT. Usually the shipping companies do that. But this is not a good option in terms of e-commerce settings, especially in this age of ease. So if you are going to compete with other sellers out there, then you would need to get registered yourself, even if you are not storing. In this case, you are making an import and you don't want your customer to be paying the import VAT.
Okay, thanks, Joseph. One question for Costas. For the funding, how big I need to grow in order to actually need funding? That's a question from James.
I can't hear you.
How
big the minimum volume of the seller?
Exactly.
Well, you know, I would say 250,000 euro or GBP in annual balances, or at the very least to have such a run rate. So last the minimum of $250,000 per year in balances. So that means that what I like to say is that they are vaccinated against the intricacies of the Amazon world, to use a prescient term. So
I see. And one question from customer, do you have a lot of like Asian clients, or you work mostly with US companies?
We can onboard legal entities from Canada, the United States, and from the European Economic Area, which is and Australia and New Zealand. So We do not, for the Amazon, at least for the Amazon service, we do not onboard Asian legal entities. So it's basically European Union, UK, Switzerland, plus Switzerland, Norway, and of course, America, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So that's, but then again, it covers, you know, a fair piece of the world.
Okay, thanks, Costa. One question for Scott. Scott, from another attendant, are you planning to expand your service to Europe? And if yes, when?
Absolutely. You know, it is effort for us to launch a new marketplace. I would presume within a few months, we're going to start on Germany and Canada. Those are the next two marketplaces. And it's really just based off of demand, what people are asking for us to prioritize. So.
Okay, thanks, Scott. So I think we don't have any more questions. We get plenty of those. Of course, if you guys think of anything else, we'll send an email with the recording tomorrow probably, and you'll be able to get in touch with Scott, Andreas, Connie, Costas, or me. And if you have any questions, then we'll obviously answer it. Actually, I think there is one last one. Okay, so that's, I believe, for hellotax. So if I got it right, if I have my own e-commerce located in the EU, so no marketplace, and I registered my company in the EQ, the custom fees will be charged directly to me, and my customers won't be required to pay them, correct? To save that for you.
You would pay the import VAT yourself, and not just return. So it will not be, it will just hurt your cash flow for some time, but you will be able to reclaim it from the authorities back, and your customer.
Okay, so I guess I mean that was the last question, I think. So thank you, everybody.
No, we got another here from Nick. We got another question from Chiron regarding the VAT harmonization.
Okay, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Can you see it? Because for some reason I'm not seeing this one, the one that you mentioned. Can you read it?
Yeah, I can see it, Nick. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can read it. It's a question for us. Will the EU VAT harmonization take place in July, mean only VAT number is needed to store products in multiple countries? It's a very good question that I'm glad it is being asked here. Although this is not a webinar for that, we will have a dedicated webinar for the OSS starting in July. But I will answer this question. The OSS changes that are coming into place will not affect the storage. The storage part, if a trader or a seller is storing in any country, he would have to register for VAT in that country, and same old rules will apply to him. The new OSS rules will only change if you are distance selling. So you are selling from one EU country into multiple EU countries, then the threshold would just be 10,000 euro, which currently is much higher, like 35,000 or 100,000 in Germany. So that would be 10,000, but the good thing would be you would just need one VAT registration in any country of your choosing, and you would be able to file the VAT returns for all the countries through registered in. But the main important point here is that will not affect if you are storing your goods in multiple EU countries. That only comes into effect if you are distance selling from one EU country into multiple EU countries and directly to consumers.
Thanks, Tusif.
A question from my side here, Tusif. Would you recommend then for a seller in the EU just to store the products in one country, even if they sell EU-wide, so it makes it more easy compared to have multiple storage locations?
Well, this is mostly, I would say, from business perspective, depending on how their customer base is based. So I wouldn't comment from the business side, but if it is applicable for a seller to store in just one EU country and then ship from that EU country directly to their customer base, then yes, it will definitely make things a lot easier for that particular seller.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. So I think we don't have any more questions. Like I said, no, we'll answer those over email. And one thing regarding the one-stop shop, that if Brexit is complicated, the one-stop shop, it's a very big mess. Actually, it's the biggest change in VAT regime in Europe. So actually, we're starting to do the webinars for that from next month, because obviously now we would like to prepare everybody in July. Hopefully, they will do that this time. And I guess we'll see again in the future with everybody. So thank you, Connie. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Kostas. Thank you, Scott. And I'll thank me. And now I won't thank my internet provider because I'm going to call them after the event. They made some issues, but I guess that happens when we're wives. So thank you again, guys, and we will see each other soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, hellotax, for everybody for participating.
Thank you.
Greetings to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.